Okay, so we're talking toddler bedtimes. Is bedtime with your toddler a battle every night? Is it a time that you just dread because you know you're up against the will of a 2-year-old? So talking toddlers, from close to age 2, the latter part of the teen months into age 2 and all the way through age 2 to early age 3, that's the kind of age where we often see these toddler bedtime battles. So in this episode, I'm going to take you through 3 simple steps that you can take that will help you to overcome bedtime battles and make it actually a peaceful and harmonious experience for you and your family every single evening. So stick around, we're going to cover this in 3 simple steps. Okay, so step 1 to mastering toddler bedtimes is to have a consistent routine. Now, I know you might be thinking, well, duh, obviously we need a consistent routine, but there's more to it than that. It sounds simple on the surface, but really think about this. Is the routine that you're doing with your toddler every single evening happening at the same time for a start? Or does it kind of move around? Is it a bit random depending on how they're behaving? Is it happening at the same time? And are you going through the same steps in the same order? Are you taking them through the exact same process? That might be bathroom, we have a wash, we do our little teeth, we go to the bedroom, we have a story, we sing a song and we say goodnight, for instance. Do you have set steps that you go through? Or is it all a bit haphazard? Because even though people often think they have a routine, when you really drill down into the nitty-gritty of the routine, it is all a little bit haphazard. And it's different with mum than it is with dad or it is with granny. And it is so variable that your toddler just doesn't really know where they stand. So stop that from tonight. Look at your routine and go, what can we do to make this uber consistent? It needs to be the same steps in the same order every single evening at the same time, so your toddler knows exactly where they stand. Now that brings me nicely onto point number 2. So that they know exactly where they stand, there has to be no extras. No extras. They just have what's in that routine. But I'm hungry, can I have a biscuit? No. But just one more story? No. I don't want this toy, I want this toy. No. Just stick to your guns with the boundaries. You're not being mean, you're actually lovingly showing them healthy boundaries that will help them to actually count on you, rely on you, and trust you. If they think that you'll change your mind like the wind, they can't really count on you. And actually it instills a much greater sense of security in your little one if they can trust you to stick to what you say and mean it, even if it isn't quite what they want to hear. So again, with those steps in your routine, don't deviate from them. Don't bend the rules just because, it's got to be the same. The second you show a chink in your armour, a second that you get a slight little deviation that lets them go, oh yeah, I got it, they let me have that. That's it. They will try again and again and again, and they will push and get more and more from you. And if they get more from one parent than they do from the other, guess what? They're going to crave that the one that they can manipulate more is the one they want and the one they demand, because they know that they can play that around. And again, it delays bedtime, it makes them overtired and cranky, and it eventually leads to these battles and battles of will. Toddlers are determined, strong-minded little characters, and actually it's amazing that they are like this. And it is great that they do test the boundaries. It's not a bad thing. They're not misbehaving. It's really intelligent of them to see they're testing, if I do this, what will you do? And if you do have a solid routine and they start to test, it's because they're trying to figure out, so if I change what I'm doing, are you going to change what you're doing? Let's find out. And what they need to see is, as a result, the answer is, no, that's cool, but I'm not going to change what I'm doing. And they'll learn from that and actually, again, feel safe and secure that it isn't a wavering rule. And so number 3 in my tips for you to help master these toddler bedtimes is to actually take a look at the nap. What does nap time look like? Because so often toddlers are having these big bedtime meltdowns because they're exhausted. And they're exhausted because parents are capping the nap. And your you're capping the nap because you think that bedtime will be easier if they nap less. Yep, you think that by limiting their daytime sleep, they're going to be much easier to put to bed at bedtime and they're going to just crash out to sleep, and that's going to magically fix these bedtime battles. Well, I'm sorry, I have news for you. That's not the answer. Sure, it might work on odd occasions. Now and again, you might find that, starving them of daytime sleep leads to them crashing out without any kind of battle. But that's a fluke, it's not skill, and it won't be sustainable. So in actual fact, your toddler still needs about 2 hours in the day. So stop capping them to an hour. I know so many of you do this. At age 2 hours is the ideal amount of sleep. Some might do a bit more and some might do a little less, but the further you go through age 2 and the closer you get to 3, sure, that's going to reduce down. But if your little one's not 2 yet, they should be doing at least 2 hours, probably a bit more. If they are age 2 and throughout age 2, generally 2 hours is so easy to remember. Age 2, 2 hours. So make sure they are getting enough daytime sleep, but make sure it falls in the middle of their day. Because the mistake some people make is keeping them awake too long and then putting them down in the afternoon, and then they do have that big nap, but it's so late in the day that they're then not awake for long enough before bedtime. And of course, then they're actually undertired for bedtime. So the positioning of that nap matters as well. When it occurs is important, and usually around the middle of the day, somewhere between 12 and 1 p.m. is going to probably fit quite nicely for your toddler's nice big nap. So there you go. As easy as 1, 2, 3, you can solve toddler bedtime battles. Number 1, make sure you've got that consistent routine and make sure it's happening at the same time every night. Number 2, no extras, no excuses. Don't play into that. Stick to your rules, stick to your guns lovingly, and no extras. And then number 3 is look at those naps. Check the naps. Is it happening at the right time? Are you getting enough sleep from your little one? If not, that's something to work on too. And then hopefully you can start to enjoy those peaceful, enjoyable bedtimes with your toddler with a nice story and a lovely night, and they can then sleep beautifully through the night. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope these tips really help you. Please do share it with a friend. Best way that you can do that is to subscribe to us on YouTube or the podcast, wherever you prefer to get this. If you hit subscribe, you're actually helping this out to more parents just like you who really need this guidance and support. And more than anything else, they need to know that you're not alone. You know, so many of you are going through this, and I've been there too. You're not alone, but this stuff will help you. So thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you next time.